Good morning. It's the day after the big governing body update number 2. It's March 16th, 2024. I had no intention or plan of making a video. In fact, my dog is begging to go for a walk, so I'm going to do that in 5 minutes, Morty. But there has been a lot of chatter on social media. Yesterday, three friends of mine actually, who were announced as no longer Jehovah's Witnesses. So again, the congregation doesn't know whether it was because of disfellowshipping, because of wrongdoing, or because they just didn't want to be Jehovah's Witnesses anymore for various reasons, especially things like not handling child pedophilia, et cetera, et cetera. But the point is, they're no longer Jehovah's Witnesses. And three of my friends called me and told me, oh my goodness, like, these people are coming out of the woodwork, people who have been shunning me, not talking to me, whether it's a parent, friends, whoever, just people from the congregation are reaching out and telling me they love me, they miss me, they hope I'm okay, inviting me to the memorial, like all of a sudden, why today? And I'm like, oh yeah, there was a governing body announcement that has kind of loosened the noose on hardcore shunning. Now it's very like shunning mingled with just a tiny bit of love bombing. And I wasn't expecting anybody to reach out to me because I have nothing left to lose. My identity is out there in full. I am unapologetically not affiliated with anything to do with Watchtower, and so thankful for that. And I have no need or desire to ever return to a kingdom hall, because I believe in worshiping God in spirit and truth. Sometimes that looks like wandering in the wilderness. Sometimes for me that looks like going to a church service, not necessarily agreeing with everything being preached. Sometimes it looks like going to a small intimate Bible study in someone's home. Sometimes it looks like a lot of wilderness. A lot of being in nature, a lot of one-on-one conversations, a lot of Bible reading and wrestling with God. So I wasn't expecting anybody to contact me, but someone did, and I have to say it is exciting and heartwarming to see that all these changes that Jehovah's Witnesses have been experiencing the last 6 months or so, with the beards, the slacks. I love that word. It's going to be like my word of 2024, slacks. I mean, all these little things when they're not addressing big things, like apologizing to their own members who have been victims of mismanaged CSA, domestic abuse, spiritual abuse, trauma from judicial meetings. Like, there's so much for them to apologize. And it reminds me of, is it Worldwide Church of God? There was a religion, and it's not in the too distant past, and I'm sure someone in the comment section will be able to fill in what my brain is not remembering right now. But there was a church that made like this huge public apology that they had, I don't know if it was doctrinal or that they realized that they had made a big mistake, and they made a very public apology that cost them over half their membership. Like, a huge number of the members just walked away. But the leadership realized that they couldn't sleep at night, like their conscience bothered them. And that reminds me of a quote that I read on the internet a couple days ago. I know, my dog is like, you said we were going for a W. And it said, a narcissist is incapable of self-reflection. And I'm not interested in being in the business of like diagnosing. It's okay to be observant and see specific narcissistic traits and call out traits, but I really try not to call people narcissists. I think the word is becoming a little bit overused, so it's losing its strength. However, I really like that summary. A narcissist is incapable of self-reflection. And when I see the governing body and their helpers and the higher tiers of the organization, and I see them speaking, I see men who are incapable of self-reflection, and that is truly narcissistic. And like they say, never play chess with a pigeon because it'll shit all over the board. So don't, get away. It's very unhealthy, it's toxic, and it's just going to make you sick the longer you stay in it. So back to this experience this morning, it was a really powerful reminder that because I'm hearing it happen on Facebook, all these people are like, all these people who have been shunning me for years and years, sometimes decades, now all of a sudden they're allowed to talk to me, and you hear the hurt, like it's opening wounds that we have been trying to heal in ourselves for many, many years. And now, because 9 men in New York say that you can say hello, we miss you, whatever, like now you're gonna want to pretend that you love me, and that can feel very disingenuous and painful. However, I think it's worthwhile to remember that these people, these Jehovah's Witnesses who are getting some major whiplash right now and waking up with like a kink in their neck and like, are duped. I mean, even I sometimes will struggle with forgiving my own mother, just because it affected major life choices that, had I not been in a cult, my life would probably look quite different. But for whatever reason, I was in a cult during my formative years and all that stuff. Let me regather my thoughts. Yeah, so I do think it's easy to respond with hurt because it's hurtful to be treated that way. But reminding ourselves that these people are under so much mind control. They have been duped. It's like someone who is being constantly and steadily poisoned. Every single time they go to the meeting, they are being mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially poisoned. And it is that vice grip on the mind. It makes me think of like having a tumor in your brain and it's putting pressure, and you just have this absolutely debilitating headache where you're not able to do normal things because it's the constant pressure. And so this morning it's been powerful for me to remember that these poor people are just, they've had like an earthquake in their organization, and now they're starting to look around, looking at like the structure of the building and wondering, maybe I should not stay in here. Maybe the next earthquake, the beam is going to fall on my head and kill me, or I don't know. So this is my 2 cents, because I definitely did things wrong when I was first waking up, because they talk about like the cycle of grief. And the first stage is anger, and I'm really good at righteous indignation. And I think it's most important when these people reach out to us to really take a step back from ourselves and our own hurt and just listen, and maybe ask small questions like, oh, well, why are you reaching out to me now? All these years have gone by and I was, dead to you. Why are you reaching out to me now? And then maybe follow up with a question of, well, what changed? Did the Bible change? Did God's love and grace change? I don't know. Maybe that would even be too much. They would start to feel like, ooh, that's like apostate vibe. But just really listening. They're processing so much, and the fact that they are reaching out shows that deep down inside in their heart, which has been plastered with layers and layers of restrictive watchtower brainwashing and doctrine, got a little crack of light, and that seed inside does want to love. It does want relationship. That's what we were created to be in with our beautiful, huge human family. So I think they're trying. My dog is going to be naughty now. So I just wanted to share that. It'll be interesting the next few months. I think we have to really be the bigger people, and show them love and patience as they process what is happening to them in their world, because we all have gone through it, and it's easy for me to try to like rush the process, like, come on, catch up with me, like read this book and da 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 da, and did you know this and this, and then it's like it's too much, and then it's overwhelming, and then a person feels like they need to retreat back into what's familiar. So just letting them see how much love there is out here for them. The person who reached out to me, one of the first questions the person asked was like, well, have you found the true religion? Like you don't go to Jehovah's Witnesses anymore, because I shared with the person that I very much am a Christian. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. I still believe in I believe in a physical resurrection. But I also said, I don't have the truth. Jesus is the truth. I don't claim to be 100% right on anything. This is just how I understand it. But the difference between me and the governing body is I'm not telling my friends and people who I share the gospel with that they have to understand God's word the way I understand it. I think there's just one focal point to the Christian gospel, and it's that the promised Messiah came to earth in physical form. He shared the gospel of his Father's kingdom, of whom he is king. He died, and he was resurrected. And without those three things, that he lived, he died, and was resurrected, we are believing in fairy tales. And that version of reality, I think, makes the world make sense. Because the world right now does seem crazy. Yeah. So, thanks for listening. And I also told my friend, and I don't even have this book here because I lent it out to someone, so I don't even know where it is, but I said, read the book, Crisis of Conscience by Ray Franz, quietly. And I also said, take notes, journal. It's the one thing I wish I had done more of, because I think when you write, it really helps your brain process on a whole deeper level. I said, you're going to have the urge to share your findings with all these people around you because they're your tribe right now. I said, don't. Just process in your private book, read, pray. I said, read the Bible without the Watchtower. That's huge. I also recommended the book, Combating Cult Mind Control by Stephen Hassan. I think he has a more current version that might be worded a little better in the title. And one of my favorite books that I've read a couple times since leaving, because it really helped me understand what has happened to Jehovah's Witnesses and their leadership and their pharisaical nature is not unique to only Jehovah's Witnesses. The more you go around to churches, the more you see the pattern. And I think God, I love the expression, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So I don't want to make the same mistake and jump headfirst into another high control group. So this book is really great, Accidental Pharisees. So that's my little share for today. Praying for Jehovah's Witnesses and other members of high control organizations all over the world. It's really systemic. It's everywhere. And I don't know if this is a new renaissance of waking up, or if it's, as Tim Mackey, who does the Bible Project, talks about, and now I'm getting off into a detour, but basically he lives in Portland, Oregon, and he talks about Mount Hood. Is it Mount Hood there? But that there's foothills, foothills, and when you're on the ground level and you are approaching a peak, you can't see the bigger one off in the distance. You think, oh, wow, this is it. And Jehovah's Witnesses were always, they still do. The end is right around the corner. Armageddon is right around the corner. Paradise is right around the corner. We don't know if that's a foothill or if it is the final mountain. I don't know what era we are in the grand scheme of things. I like to think, maybe because I just want to see the end of suffering, that we are approaching like the grand climax, but maybe we're not. And so in the words of Dr. Phil, pray, but keep rowing the boat towards shore. In other words, yeah, we want the full culmination of the kingdom of heaven here on earth. That's what, the Lord's Prayer is. But we keep rowing. We don't just sit in the boat and say, God save me. We still have to row. Thanks for listening. Have a great weekend and talk to you later. Ciao for now.